Some bands are known just as much for their album covers as they are for their music, such as this band from the UK that came out in the late 70s. They always had pretty girls on the cover. And on their third album, they have a woman reclining in a sweater and not much else, smoking a cigarette. And the band is Charlie. And fortunately, they had a lot of good songs on these albums too, so it wasn't just a gimmick. Such as this particular track, Life So Cruel. Already, I'm hearing emphasis on thirds, like the first chord in the sequence is an E, but it's like a D-shaped E. Interesting. So, and this band is very strong on harmony, so expect a lot of emphasis on thirds, fifths, you know. And so far, we've been hearing like the guitar work. Well, interesting thing about this band, they have two members whose names bleed other people in the industry. They have a member named John Anderson, who's the bassist, although his name is spelled John, not Jon, like the Yes frontman. And they have a drummer named Steve Gadd, but not the ubiquitous LA session musician, although I guess one time their paths crossed in LA or something. They were both staying at the same hotel, and it caused confusion with the receptionist, and calls to one were being routed to the other or something. Oh yeah, and guitar on this track is played by Eugene Organ and Terry Thomas. Terry Thomas being kind of the mastermind behind, or the driving force behind Charlie.
Sitting at home, wondering what to do. Riding round's a big mystery. Thinking it out, I still can't believe it's true. Why do these things happen to me?
Sitting at home, wondering what to do, what I did wrong's a big mystery, thinking it out, I still can't believe it's true. Why do these things happen to me time after time? So the guy has been dealt a hard knock in life, and he's reflecting on it, wondering what may have led him to his current predicament. I gotta say, the real angular points of interest in terms of the structure that makes this one gripping is the way it goes like, life so cruel just turns me around. Just turns me around. Life so cruel keeps knocking me down. It's like the last four syllables on each line has a certain chordal twist to it, like dun 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 dun, yeah, dun 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 dun, like, yeah, the first one goes dun 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 dun, and then the second one it goes dun 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 dun, yeah. So the first time he says "Life's so cruel," he's in E. The second time he says "Life's so cruel," he's in D flat minor, I think. Da 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 da. Yeah, and then da 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 da. Yeah, and then he goes A flat minor to B. Yeah, just the he throw when you're mixing like when you're taking like a key like E and you're throwing in lots of flat tonics like D flat, A flat, and those are like relative minors, relative majors of E. Um, but then you kind of let each of those key centers have their own. Um, you let them kind of have control for a moment, and then go to their like relative key centers as well. You let the tonics of those go to their relative minors and majors, and it makes for some interesting turns. It can make for some compelling songwriting if you can take those chords, find a distinct cadence with them, and also find like a lyrical hook that's distinctive and that has a certain meaning to it.
It was only last year that I felt the grace. The moment's bad luck that I was gone. The kind of bad luck that happened at any place. But I was right there. My timing was wrong. And it's wrong once again, no.
Some interesting things have surfaced here. First of all, the lyrics are getting a bit more in depth. We're getting a bit more plot here. But I had to comment on the second line when they say "love it was gone." The way for most we hear Terry Thomas carrying the lyrics, but they all join in to emphasize like those four words. It's just such like a choice emphasis. I love the way that when bands that really know how to harmonize, they choose certain words to join in on or to double up on to give emphasis rather than the harmonizing just being kind of arbitrary and flat, kind of like it was in a lot of 60s pop. Okay, lyrically, what have we covered here? Was only last year that I fell from grace, a moment's bad luck, and love it was gone. The kind of bad luck that happens at any place. But I was right there, my timing was wrong, and it's wrong once again. So he's been down on his luck for a while, and I guess he's been dealt yet another hard knock, and so he's even worse than he had been like in the last 12 months or so. So hard luck story.
So cold, just turns me around. Life's so cold, keeps knocking me down. Life's so cold, it's against me, it seems.
Those angular parts I was telling you about.
Life's so cold, this starts on my dreams. For once in my life, will fortune be kind to me and let me up light? I can't stand the misery I've had before.
An era in which songwriters were careful to add a distinct middle eight into the song where they go into new chords and they break from the narrative to present a different perspective. Here, in this part of the song, he says, "For once in my life, will fortune be kind to me and let me off light? I don't need the misery I've had before." So he's still has a fighting spirit. He see, he views himself as worthy of better. He deserves better than the hand he's been dealt in recent times. Those chordal angularity.
What to do now? I really can't think to the straight. Busy cat can't make a bad move. I'll give my round for that lucky break. It's just the best time for my luck to improve. But I ain't alright on me. Life's so good, you dance me around. Life's so good, keeps knocking me down. Life's so good, it's against me it seems. Life's so good, destroys all my dreams.
Okay, I have to let's see, give another shout out here. The guitar work has been quite sumptuous. If you've noticed some of those little lines that follow the singer, or that cut in between his words. The organ that you've heard, if you've noticed some of those like keys just kind of rising up like at choice moments, by Julian Kolbeck. He plays electric piano, Fender Rhodes, and organ on this track. I should catch us up on the lyrics here. What to do now? I really can't think to straight. Better take care. Can't make a bad move. I'd give my right arm for one lucky break. It's just the best time for my luck to improve, but I ain't got a bank on it. I ain't gonna bank on it. Oh, wow.
Life's so good. 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 Life's so good.
It's against me, it seems, destroys all my dreams. Yeah, there you have it. Charlie, Life's So Cruel, from their 1978 album Lines. Yeah, one of the most prolific English rock bands to emerge during the later half of the 70s. Put out their first album in 1976, and it was just like an album a year up through 1979 anyway. The early 80s, I'm a little bit... Oh, I got a few breaks in there. They had a big comeback in 1983 with It's Inevitable, after having made kind of slight inroads into the American market, like with this album and the one before it. Yeah, just a band that was always about harmonies, was about angular chordal changes, and clever lyrics, and usually side two of each album, they tended to stretch out a little bit more. They would have like their pop songs on side one, and their slightly kind of jazz pop, jazz rock, more kind of jammy numbers on side two, and showing their chops, their taste, kind of their Steely Dan side. Anyway, for more great Rubies and Sapphires from Charlie, see the English C directory, the directory of albums by English C artists, in the link. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear travel tri-maximalist, signing off.